That's a simple but powerful combination that can transform business results. Today, we're joined by Becky Freemall, a fractional chief marketing officer and founder of Market Exec, to discuss the equation people plus data equals results. Good afternoon, Becky. Thanks for being back here and here at home. Good to see you.
It was so good to see you. It's been a long time since we've gotten to see each other. I love it.
Yes. I know you chatted with Natalie a couple of times, so I'm happy to have you in. And first thing, it's so nice in this world of AI to hear that humans are still important to the world of business. Rest assured, we still need people. But this is a really interesting concept that you've developed.
Right. So, data is so important in business. Yes. And it's just important in general. It's the evidence you need to build really important stories for your business. But it's hard to build those stories if you don't have the people to share the context. So when you talk about PETA plus, what did I say, PETA?
PETA.
PETA. I'm hungry. People would be the word I'm looking for. I did a whole new formula for you. People plus data drive results is you need that data, but you need the people to share the context of what that data means and what that number is, so it's not just a spreadsheet.
Yeah, and when you're talking to businesses and they've got all this data, and you're the person that's making that connection, saying, hey, we need some kind of human story here. We need something that people can connect to and not just looking at spreadsheets. And that sounds like a very complicated task to me.
And you do this as well, my background is in broadcast journalism. And so it's something that really allows me to dive in on the business side of the world and be like, these data points have stories. Where are we going and why? And based on that path, these are the data points we need to get us there, absolutely. So you want to identify those key data sources, and you want to set up data tracking too, because it can be an overload. So make sure you just pick, say, 2 to 3. Right. If you don't have a big data analyst, marketing analyst team, you don't need one. Just pick a couple and say, okay, these are the things I want to do. I want to drive revenue. I want to attract top talent. Based on where you are, where you're going, your why, you can start figuring out those KPIs, to throw out lingo that makes everyone go, ugh. But it's just your key performance indicators are really important.
Thank you for explaining what a KPI is, because I had no idea. But that is a really good point, your background in journalism, because we are used to getting a lot of information, pulling out, the important things, and then, putting those out for people to understand.
Yes.
Talk a bit about the businesses that you work with. What size? Who are the people that typically come to you for this sort of help?
Absolutely. You're talking about people who maybe aren't ready for that full-time C-suite. They don't want the heaviness on top. They'll get there eventually, but they're not that big yet. So they don't have a full-time chief marketing officer or chief financial officer or chief insert whatever officer. There's plenty, but they still are deserving of knowing that strategy, and they don't have that strategist on staff. So they'll say, hey, you know what, we need a fractional CMO. We need someone to help build out our story and then get us moving. Numbers wise, since I always tell you data and people are important, I say loosely the data would be anyone from, say, 15 employees all the way up the gamut, get hundreds. And then I would say probably no that less than about 7 to 10 million in gross annual revenue. But again, that data, while important, I have clients who are less than that, and I have clients who are more than that. Really, at the end of the day, you need people who know where they're going and know, hey, this is the time that marketing is going to help us go next level.
And set you apart from other businesses.
Yeah.
How have businesses been transformed with this module?
A great example, for example, I worked in higher ed for a while with a project that we had done, and it was a fundraising campaign. So sure, in a capital campaign, you can go out and tell people, hey, we need to raise $250 million for a building. That is not very inspirational. So you start to look at the data, the numbers that they need, what are the numbers they're going to get to, how much are people willing to give, and based on that acquisition cost, like how much are they, how much donation they're coming in, how many of those do you need, and who are those people? What story resonates with you will be different than maybe a CEO of a company of 5 million or 10 million, gross annual revenue.
Yeah, and you're thinking about the people that are going to benefit from that, and not just we need to raise X amount of money.
Yes.
It's a lot less overwhelming when you put it that way.
And the data, you got those data points. Right. But then the story isn't, oh, we're building a building. It's, oh, hey, the students are going to have access to state-of-the-art equipment, or we're going to do research that could save lives. And then you start to build the story on those data points. And then you start connecting with people. And when people start feeling that emotion, that is what drives action.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And you are a wealth of information. You've also written a book we want to point out.
I did. I don't have it with me. I was going to bring it. I may or may not have given it away. I had one with me. Whole different story. But yeah, it's brand voice, people plus data drive results. And the book itself, I always say brand voice, I kind of hold my hand out like the foundation. I am Becky Fremel, whether I'm sitting here talking to you, Kimberly McBroom, and everyone watching, or I'm a mom of 2 boys, or I was an MBA student. My brand voice is my brand voice everywhere I go. But from that really strong foundation, and businesses are no different, you build the stories that launch from that foundation. So if you're talking to investors, the story's going to be a little bit different than if you're trying to attract top talent or talk to a potential client to drive revenue. So, but that brand voice ties it all together and gives you that good cohesiveness, because that builds trust. If I'm me with you, and I go someone else and I'm someone totally different, and then you two talk, you'll be like, whoa, well, which one is she?
You got to stick to that brand. People
Yes.
plus data equals results. Becky, thank you so much
Absolutely.
for coming in, as always. Some
Yes.
great information. And of course, you can find more of Becky's information on her website, themarketexec.com. We've also got a link to that on our website under Here at Home. Becky, thank you so much.